Hello, welcome to step 0 of starting to grow food where you live. I called this step 0 because before we can even begin to evaluate or plan to produce anything, we need to figure out where this production will be located. If you have access and already know where you'll grow, congratulations, skip on ahead to step 1. For the rest of us, we need to start exploring. So first, grab your favorite note-taking tools, be it a pen and paper or finger and phone. Go walk or bike around your neighborhood. Poke around through a satellite map. Just make note of as many locations as possible that you might think could work for your growing intentions. Keep in mind, this is a quick data gathering mission. We're looking for quantity here, okay? We're going to assess for quality later, because with every step of this search, we're going to end up with fewer and fewer options for potential use. Now, I'll give you some hope in that once you do get started, it's incredibly common that you'll begin to be approached and offered more land than you thought possible in the beginning. People start seeing you working and they're thinking, oh wow, maybe this person knows or has something to do and they can work my land. That's fine, but for now, while your garden is all inside your mind and not out in the ground, you're going to need to keep your options open. So look for empty or underutilized spaces, record the location, and move on with your search. I've drafted up some example data here in this table. I filled it with fictional locations to demonstrate the rest of the points in step 0. Start with a list of as many promising locations as you can find. Hopefully you've got more than these 4 that I've listed here, but this is more than enough clutter for the screen, trust me. All right, so with addresses of potential locations where we could grow in the first column of our table, we can now move on to our next step where we begin to secure access to this site. There's no need to start planning for this use of space if we don't know that we'll actually be able to stay there. Do what you can to obtain contact information for each of these sites. Knock on doors, go to your county assessor's office or their website and look up the parcel information. Do whatever you need to do, go wherever you need to go. Find out who's in charge of these different spots. All right. Contact information. You can see that we're already starting to lose some of the potential places out there, as I couldn't find any particular landowner for that last parcel on the bottom on 26th Street. So along the way, record as much contact information as you find as you're recording the addresses. You've been knocking on doors, you've been trying to find everything you can. Now it's time to start chasing down those leads. Kindly state your intentions, ask their opinion by whichever method of contact that you've got for them, and then understand this is where you're going to lose a lot more potential sites between simply lacking a means to connect with them and then also meeting flat-out rejections. You're likely to face a much smaller list now than when you started. And if you've even run out of potential sites, then it's time to go out there, broaden your search, maybe include the one that you kind of skipped the first time, or just look further or be willing to work with less optimum conditions, and just renew your efforts to contact the landowners. Or if you do dare, you can start growing guerrilla style, but know that the power of a bulldozer could crush all that you've built if the landowner so chooses. So be careful, or go with that in mind. All right, last thing. Whatever options are left, we can now begin to look at the actual details of the site where we or you finally get to make some choices. First detail, what size could you use here? Just make a rough estimate of the total open space. We're not looking for like bed area and pathways or anything. Just look for space that you might use. So step 2, what kind of access is there? Not just is there a fence or a gate, but what kind of equipment could fit within the site? Can you drive a tractor in? Probably not, depending on your location, especially if you're in an urban environment. Could you bring in a personal vehicle? You surely better at least be able to get in a wheelbarrow in and out with ease. This means not only that the length of your most narrow point, right? Like how wide your most narrow point is, but also whether there are steps leading up to this site, or if the fence in style has like a bar that runs across that your wheelbarrow has to hop over every time you go through. Second to last, where is the site in relation to your home, work, your other common routes? How out of your way, how much work is required to get to this site? Your normal routine is this, adding on this site, like how much time does it add to your schedule? How easy is it to go to these different sites? Whether these sites are used for your pleasure or for your like professional production, you will be best served and most appreciative of a site as close to your residence, as least out of your way as possible. One last thing to note, how much sun exposure do all these sites receive? Again, we're going broad strokes here. We're just wondering if there are a lot of high-rise buildings on all the edges, or maybe there's large trees along the entire southern front, that kind of thing. Like super broad strokes. Just make your best guess, partial sun, full sun, and move on. All right, that's it. We filled out the table. We're basically almost there. I hope you're getting excited. Review your notes about these sites. Start making your decision about which one you want to begin to pursue and actually start working on. Especially if you've already got permission, then like contact that owner and tell them, okay, I'm going to start doing it this day. Does that work? So yeah, if you can decide your site now, great, move on to the next step. However, if seeing some numbers might help you understand some things, or if you've got several sites and you just can't choose, then I do have a follow-up video where you can watch a quick demonstration of how to rate these different sites, and just kind of we're looking at these really simple site attributes, and then we will produce a final score for each one. All right, thanks.